Previously on It Ends With Us, Blake Lively's co-star Brandon Sklenar seemingly was supporting the actress until he stopped talking about it at all. Well, now he's completely changing his tune, it seems. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we got a lot to go through. Brandon Sklenar is opening up again. He's in this new movie, The Housemaid, and some telling sound bites coming in from a recent interview that I think are going to make a lot of you shocked. Also, Rob Shutter's prediction is coming true. But first, let's go back to Brandon Sklenar. All right, now, Brandon Sklenar has supported his co-star, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. You got to remember, Brandon Sklenar was like pretty much replaced Justin Baldoni in all the marketing efforts. There was literally even a video where Ryan and Ryan's mom are gushing over how amazing Brandon is. Hugh Jackman even is like, I think I found the new Wolverine. Like, they were just gushing over this dude. I suspect because they needed help to sort of combat their story, right? And so he was very vocal in the beginning. He came out breaking his silence about the disheartening amount of negativity, which one could read as just sort of standing up for Blake amidst all the bad press she was getting. Like, hey, we're all human. Let's lead with love and be kind to each other. And that was sort of where he came out. And I found this kind of annoying to begin with, but he's not wrong in that he didn't want the movie and the book to lose focus. He was right all along. And then fast forward to December, right after Blake Lively filed her lawsuit, he also stepped up for his co-star, saying, for the love of God, read this. He shared her full complaint on his Instagram and made it clear that he was supporting Blake. And in that very beginning, a lot of people did, myself included. I was like, whoa, this doesn't sound good. We need to hear more. Is this all true? And then as soon as Justin came out and responded, Brandon Sklenar pretty much stopped talking altogether. He didn't support Blake. He didn't support Justin. He just sort of backed up and sort of did what he did. And now he's sort of supporting himself. There were instances where he wore a specific pin and then got called out, and he did everything he could to disassociate himself even from Justin. He seemed to be sort of attempting to play Switzerland, and it pissed off a lot of fans, to be honest. People were mad at him for saying, dude, Justin seemingly got him the role. He's the director. He's the producer of this film. And Brandon was not a big name. He wasn't. I think he'd done a Yellowstone show or something. That was pretty much what he was known for. But It Ends With Us was definitely a big marker. And Blake and Ryan made sure to sort of share him around, which they did because Paul Feig is directing The Housemaid. And so Paul Feig reveals how Blake Lively played a part in making The Housemaid. He exclusively told E! News about how Blake Lively helped him with casting for his upcoming movie, which also stars Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and drops in theaters on December 19th. He revealed it was Blake Lively, who we worked on in A Simple Favor and Another Simple Favor, who helped him cast one of the main roles. Blake had just worked with Brandon. I think we have the clip right here.
Blake had just worked with Brandon on It Ends With Us, and she was still in the middle of shooting and all that stuff when we were doing Simple Favor. They were doing reshoots, and she was like, "I'm working with this guy, and he's so amazing, Brandon. You got to meet Brandon." I was like, "All right, Blake." And then so finally we were casting this. I was like, "All right, I'll have lunch with Brandon." He walks in within 30 seconds. I'm like jelly, like, "Oh, okay, you're like the most charismatic, guy you've ever met in your life, and so talented." So there's a thrill of working with people you've worked with before because you know how to play with what they do, but there's a real thrill also about working with somebody new for the first time.
So confirming he wasn't that big of a name. Blake is the one who sort of put it in Paul's ear. So now let's hear Brandon Sklenar talk about how he got the role on the Today Show. You ready for this, guys?
So word has it that Sydney really pushed for you to be hired for this role.
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other?
No, we did not. No, I was surprised, honestly, that she did that. Yeah, I was like, me? Really? All right. I was, playing a cowboy 100 years ago, and I've never done a white-collar contemporary man. But yeah, I was honored and thrilled that she saw that I could potentially do that, and producers were on board, and Paul Feig was on board, and I had lunch with Paul Feig, actually, and we just, we hit it off big time, and that guy, he's such have you guys ever met Paul Feig?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just an exceptional human being. He's so
a remarkable dresser.
Oh my God.
So this whole interview, Blake Lively is not mentioned once. Now you might say, oh, well, Sydney Sweeney also helped get him in. Did you hear that whole story? Oh, I was this, excuse me. Yellowstone 1923 star. I was playing a cowboy. I'd never done any white collar contemporary man roles. I was honored and thrilled she thought I could potentially do it. Producers were on board. Paul was on board. I had lunch with Paul and we just hit it off. No mention of Blake Lively, who Paul has been very clear was the one who told him. And I don't believe he doesn't know this. I don't believe he's just playing dumb. And the chat was very keen that Blake got him the role, not Sydney Sweeney. Brandon's trying so hard to distance himself from Blake. Absolutely not. Brandon helped Blake steal a man's film and falsely frame him. So Blake got the director to cast Brandon for this role. To anyone with a father, son, brothers, don't support Brandon and Paul, who destroyed an innocent man to get ahead of their careers. Paul Feig already admitted Blake Lively introduced him to hype you up for this job. He was anyway. No one's letting this go off, and it's hard to not see this as a complete slam. That he's now refusing to acknowledge the reality. Now, Paul Feig supported her during that period, as we've shown. Brandon Sklenar supported her in that period. What's just so strange to me, how can you support her through all of this and then just stop doing it? Like literally stop doing it. And not only stop doing it, but completely change your whole story on how you got the role that now you're getting because of apparently her. Completely distancing himself. He's constantly doing this. Now, at the same time, we've seen some other clips where he does seem a little, oh, I just wore this pin by accident. Dude, be more on top of this. But he's not. Now, I don't know what his feelings are on Justin. I don't know what happened, if he had some beef with Justin. I don't know, but it's just shameful to see him now who stepped up twice to back up Blake and has not once stepped up to support Justin too. If you really think this is a mess for the movie and everything else, why aren't you blaming both parties? The truth is because he can't. I'm sure he can't afford to blame Blake and Ryan. There may be a part of him that just despises them now and realizes he's been played, but he can't, you know, as I'm learning through my own subpoena, which guys, we could still use your help. Yes. Check the pinned comment, support if you can. Thanks to everybody who has. We'll talk more about it tomorrow during our live, but please keep his support coming. But as someone who's dealing with it directly, I can see why he might be a little scared to go against the powers that be. Powers that be that are already out there doing what they do with good PR. Oh, we don't know what the holiday plans are, but we're cozying up to our sister, and our plans are up in the air, and oh, it's gonna be so fun. Well, not sure why is Robin Lively even in the news? Who cares? Sorry, girl, who cares about Robin Lively? Nobody. Was that a witch movie you made ages ago? No one cares. No one cares. But of course, as Rob Shutter called correctly, she's launching her redemption campaign with all carefully casual grocery runs, and now my sister and the holiday plans, and we're still in the press, and we're still beloved, and we still have all this support from our family and friends. This was all called, and it's going to continue to happen throughout the holidays, throughout the new year, because she's all on top of, you know, retaliating via the press to paint this in another way. That's what's so frustrating to watch, if I'm being honest. And then on top of that, Chris Pine and Jenny Slate top line a new film, Carousel, but ironically, just a little note, produced by It Ends With Us producer Alex Sachs, as Kim noted. And yeah, small world after all, isn't it? Interesting how these people all still getting their roles. Now, look, Hollywood's tough right now. Hollywood is absolutely tough right now with this Netflix merger, potentially, which I have so many questions about, which do you want me to do a video here? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I was going to try to do something on Movie World when I had a chance. It is going to mess things up tremendously. It is a huge deal. Everyone should be very worried about what that means. And I'll either do it here or on my channel, Movie World. I'll subscribe over there. Movie World Plus, look it up. Stay tuned. We got that and so much more to cover. So please hit that bell if you haven't already. Smash that thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you want to hear. There's the Movie World sign if you see it. We got a lot more coming your way. And what do you think by this? Do you think Brandon's really distancing himself on purpose? Are you still mad at him? Let me know your thoughts down below.